Had this great question come up in our Facebook group just the other day regarding the joint ownership of a business and how that's handled in divorce. So let's dive into this a little bit. You own a divorce with your soon-to-be ex-spouse, you're going through a divorce, and you need to figure out how to divide that up. Well, I've talked about this in some other videos, but I want to dive into this a little bit. There's really 3 things that you can do in this particular case. Number 1, soon-to-be ex-spouse can buy you out and you can walk away. That usually requires a ton of extra cash that people just don't have laying around and is often a little bit of a problem. Number 2, you can decide to liquidate the business. Get a business valuation done. We can help you with that as Certified Divorce Financial Analyst. Especially my team here, we have a business valuator on staff that can help you with that and get the business evaluated and then figure out how you're going to best divide that up in the divorce. Close up shop. Business is worth a certain amount of money, you divide up those assets and you move on with your life. Or they're offset with some other assets and we can help you sort that out as well. So you've got 2 different options here. The last one, and I've seen this happen a couple of times in the past, by creating a family limited partnership, which I'm not going to get into the technical details of this, and I'm certainly not an attorney, so you want to talk to an attorney about this, but by creating a family limited partnership, in many ways you can pass those assets on to your kids in the divorce, right? So maybe one of you decides that you're going to continue to run the business and you're just going to pass that asset on to the kids. This allows you to create a legacy for your family. It allows you to make sure that you're taking real fundamental consideration of the business into play in the divorce. Neither one of you gets actual ownership of that asset, so that asset value can be taken out of the divorce, but the kids get the benefit in the future. There's some logistics around it and certainly some legal wrangling you have to deal with, but I've seen this happen in the past and it's worked. What you don't want to do is get into a situation where the 2 of you try to build this business together and continue to run it, because that, unless you're like super amicable, that's probably not going to work, because the first time that you guys have a disagreement, open up a big can of worms, and you're probably back in the courts to figure out what to do with this. So I've seen people try to do that in the past. Doesn't always work out. You've got to be super amicable and have some hard set ground rules in place to make that happen. So I think the other 3 options are probably the best. Number 1, you figure out how you're going to buy each other out of the business and move on, or you liquidate it. Or lastly, use a family limited partnership to try to make sure that that business that you've been building for however many years passes on to your kids, assuming that you have that type of legacy to leave. Hope it helps.